Today we're going to go over a few solving systems of equation questions that you can see on either the STAR or just a regular assessment. Okay, and so we're also going to review a few of real numbers and volume. Okay, so for the first question, we have the two lines graphed on a coordinate grid. Each represent an equation. Which ordered pair represents the solution to both equations? So here we're looking for the solution for both equations. This is a systems question. Here on the graph you have two lines. You have line number 1 and then line number 2. Right, and so when we have a system, our intersection is going to be our answer. So right here at this intersection, our x value, because remember we have to put it as xy, our x value is that -2, and the y value is that 1. So our solution is -2, 1, which is B. Okay. For number 2, the graph models the linear relationship between the charge for a tip and the number of miles driven for 2 taxis. Based on the graph, which statement appears to be true? Okay, so we have a taxi and our y is the charge in dollars and our x is the distance. Okay, so they're saying for some of the answers it says, for F it says the charge for a trip with a distance of 5 miles is $5 greater than for taxi 1 than for taxi 2. G says the charge for a trip with a distance of 5 miles is $5 less for taxi 1 than for taxi 2. H says the charge for a trip with a distance of 5 miles is $20 for both taxis. And J says the charge for a trip with a distance of 5 miles cannot be determined for either taxi. So if you notice, like, all of the answers is talking about something happening at 5 miles. So let's look at 5 miles right here, and let's look at what we have. So up at 5 miles, we have the intersection of both of those lines. So this is a system of equations. And our solution is right there at that distance at 5 miles. So at 5 miles, our y value is 20. And they're saying we have 5 miles. It will cost $20. Right? And so the one that says that at 5 miles, it's going to be $20 for both of the taxis because they both cross at 5 miles. They both cross the 20 mark for the y-axis. Okay, so no taxi is going to be greater or less than at 5 miles because at 5 miles they're charging the same exact cost of $20. Okay. Number 3 says, what is the solution of the system of equations shown? So we have this system, and so let's go ahead and graph number 1. We have our y-intercept at 3, and our slope is 1 over 2, so that means we're going to go up 2 and to the right 2, up 1 to the right 2. So we'll start at 3, we'll go up 1, right 2, up 1, right 2, up 1, right 2, 1, right 2. So I'm going to go ahead and make this line. You extend it out that way. And then for number 2, let's do it in green. So for number 2, our y-intercept is -2 and our slope is 3, but we got to make it into a fraction, so we put it over 1. And that is up 3 and to the right 1, beginning at -2. So let's put a point at -2. We're going to go up 3, 1, 2, 3, and to the right 1. 1, 2, 3, and we already have our answer, right? But let's go ahead and keep going. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and over 1. Okay, and so since this is a system, we are going to get the point where they both intersect or where they both cross, which is that point right there. And that point, our x value is 2. Oops, you can't really see that. Our x value is 2, and our y value is a 4. So that is our ordered pair. So 2, 4, and that is B. Okay. For number 4, it says which graph is correctly showing the solution of the system. So, okay, let's see. I'm going to go ahead and put B equals, and that's -4, and my slope is -2/1. And then for my second one, B is also equal to -4, and M is equal to -2/3. If you notice, they start at the same point, right? -4. But the difference is here they have it at -4 on the x-axis, and here they have it on the y-axis. And we know B is the y-intercept. Y-intercept. So we're not looking at x-intercept, we're looking at the y. So G is going to be our answer. Okay. For number 5, it says use the graphing calculator to find the solution to the systems of equations. So for this question, we can use our regular graphing calculator. If you don't have it, you can also use the Desmos graphing calculator. But basically what you're doing is you're just putting both of those equations into our into the calculator, and they graph it, and then you see where they cross, right? For this question, they are going to cross at 6, 7. And so it will be A. Something that you want to do if you are unsure of your answer is you can check your answer, because if we put in 7 for the y and 6 for the x, we got 7 is equal to 10 times 6 minus 53. That's for the first one, right? So we got 7 is equal to 60 minus 53. And then 7 is equal to 60 minus 53, which is 7. So if they match up like this, that's the correct answer, right? And let's go ahead and try it out at the second one too. So y would be 7. We got -13/2 times 6 plus 46. Okay. So first you will start with the fraction and the 6. So 7 is equal to -39 plus 46. And when you add 49 to -39, you should get 7. Okay, and again here, they are the same number, so that is a correct solution. Okay, it's pretty cool. Number 6, it says, write the system of two equations to find the solution of the system, the point of intersection. So here, let's go ahead and just number our equation. So I'll do red for number 1 and green for number 2. Okay, so for the first equation, they're asking for y equals mx plus b, right? Y equals mx plus b, where m is your slope and b is your y-intercept. I'm going to abbreviate that. Okay, so for our first equation, I'm going to put y equals. We are starting at 2, so my last number is going to be a plus 2. And my slope, I'm going to pick this point and this point over here, because I know it's a good point. You can't pick this one because that's not a good point, so I'm not going to use that one. Okay, so from this point to this point, I'm going up 2 and to the right 1. Right, so my rise is 2 and my run is 1, and don't forget your x for your slope. Okay, you can write it as 2/1, or we can write it as just 2. Just 2 divided by 1 is just 2. Okay. For our second equation, we got y equals. Our y-intercept is going to be at -2, so we can put a -2. And from this point to any point, basically, you can choose any one because they're good points. I'm not going up at all, so my rise over run. My rise is 0, but my run is 3, right? So 0 divided by 3 is just 0. So we can put 0x minus 2, or we can just put y equals -2. Okay, and so our solution to that system is where they cross, and they cross at this point right here, which is -2 for the x and -2 for the y. For the next one, these last two are going to be refreshers for volume and real numbers. So number 7, it says, Miss Sampson is using several cones to decorate for a party. The cones are 8 inches tall and have a radius of 3 inches. So I'm going to highlight that. 3 inches tall, 8 inches tall and 3 inches for radius. What is the volume of one of the cones to the nearest whole in cubic inch? So if I go back to my formula chart, I see that volume of a cone is going to be 1/3 pi r squared times h. Okay, and we have our h, which is 8, and then our radius, which is 3. So all I'm going to do in the calculator is put 1/3 pi squared times 8. Okay, when I do that, my volume is going to be rounded, is going to be 75. So for this, we know it's positive, so I'm going to put positive, right? 75, and then here we can put 7, 5, and that's it. You don't have to put the 0 zeros. If you want, you can, but you don't have to. Okay. For our last one, it says, which word best describes the letter A in the diagram below? And A is right here. Okay, so here we have real numbers and irrational and rational numbers, and then whole numbers. So let's look at our answer choices. We have interest, counting numbers, positive numbers, and integers. We know that in real numbers, there's no word for interest in real numbers. Also, positive numbers, they're types of numbers, but it's not a type of real number. Okay, so we do have counting numbers and integers. Counting numbers, we know they are 1, 2, 3, everything greater than 1, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, all of those. Okay. Whole numbers are going to be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, all of those numbers. And irrational are going to be the ones with like fractions and positive and negative numbers. So the ones that is in between 0 and up, and then all the numbers that we have like fractions and all those stuff is going to be integers.